The Algarve in southern Portugal, famed for sun, sea and its connection with the game of golf. And this year, the Portugal Masters celebrates its 10th anniversary. Back in 2007, England's Steve Webster was the inaugural champion. Webster triumphed at 25 under par, establishing the reputation for entertainment and low scoring, which has continued at this popular tournament, won by a selection of the European Tour's finest. In 2012, Shane Lowry was overjoyed to capture the title. A year later, David Lynn's closing 63 got the job done, and Frenchman Alexander Levy prevailed in 2014. Yes, it's time for a party in Vilamoura, host resort for the event since its inception. A pleasant place to be, especially in late October when being poolside in Northern Europe isn't exactly recommended. One of those headlining, Alex Noren, this season's winner of the Aberdeen Asset Management Scottish Open, European Masters, and only last weekend, the British Masters. Also on show, Thomas Pieters, fresh from such an impressive Ryder Cup debut. And the defending champion, Andy Sullivan, in a league of his own here last year, coming out on top by no less than 9 shots. As for the top-class venue, that's Victoria Club de Golf, designed by the late great Arnold Palmer and one of 5 courses in Vilamoura where you can play year-round and soak in the Algarve sun. So, table set, welcome to the feast of golf that is the 2016 Portugal Masters. Mr. Palmer created a gem that opened in 2004 and only a year later was used for the World Cup, featuring 4 lakes that come into play on 7 holes and measuring a little over 7,100 yards par 71. It's a course that always generates dramatic golf. And I can tell you that with this being the last event to decide who retains their playing rights for next season and who must head to the rigours of Q School, even more drama than usual is guaranteed. Of course, Q School is not a concern for Thomas Pieters, this season's Made in Denmark champion. But at 7 under, the Belgian isn't in the spotlight here. 4 shots better off going into the closing round, but still with much ground to make up, is Noren, having a truly golden year. He's put together 2 rounds of 67 and a 68 so far. Mounting a very stout title defence is Sullivan, who staked his claim to become the first back-to-back Portugal Masters champion during a breathtaking 61 on Friday. And John Hawksworth, there's also 2 major champions on the leaderboard.
Yes, 1999 Open champion Paul Lawrie looked back to his best in reaching 16 under par with 3 sub-70 rounds. After an injury-plagued season, it's been low-key by his standards, he's looking for another victory. Now also in contention, talking to major players, Pádraig Harrington 17 under par and in the final 3-ball as he bids to win on the European Tour for the first time since 2008.
Mikko Kohonen is playing under immense pressure, but you'd never guess. The Finn lies 116th on the race to Dubai, in danger of losing his card. But with a Saturday 64, he sprang to 18 under. In fact, Kohonen shares the 54-hole lead with Denmark's Anders Hansen, semi-retired from tournament involvement, who was outstanding during a vintage third-round 62, all the more remarkable given that this is only his 5th start of the year. Rust? What rust? Chris Paisley, 3rd at last month's Italian Open, is performing well. Former Asian Tour #1 David Lipsky is in the mix also, but up top, Hansen and Kohonen are tied going into a final day where tension is bound to be as high as the stakes. Oliver Fischer is one of those situated on the relegation bubble, but he's producing a cracking round so far, out in 31, then 3 consecutive birdies from the 11th in climbing to 18 under. And there are few signs of nerves from Kohonen, who picked up shots on the 2nd and here at the 4th, before making a bogey on the 510-yard par 4 7th, traditionally the toughest hole at Victoria Club de Golf. All the more eye-catching then that Harrington birdied the 7th, and 2 under for the day, he's 19 under in total, approaching the turn.
Now, 1 over for the day after 3. Laurie began to motor with 4 birdies on the front 9 as he covered that 9 holes in 32 shots. Vintage putting from Paul Laurie. Nice to see him back after his injuries. But the title holder went lower with 4 birdies in the opening 5 holes. Sullivan raced to 20 under par. Now, obviously, he badly wants to keep this trophy, and playing like this, you would have to say the opportunity is definitely there. Great shot.
And yet, continuing to defy convention, having not taken part in a European Tour event since August, Hansen refuses to budge. The twice BMW PGA champion at Wentworth started with 3 pars before zooming to 21 under, thanks to a hat-trick of birdies from the 4th. At the age of 46, the Dane remains on course for one of the season's most extraordinary wins. Thanks to a final round 63, Hansen's fellow countryman Lucas Bjergaard leads in the clubhouse at 17 under, and only a couple of shots cover the top 5 players. Hansen just in front.
Yeah, amazing story. This is Paisley. There's no worries about his card after that finish in Italy, going with a short iron. Thought the ball had just slightly jumped on him. It's a generous golf course off the tee. Flattish, green's not overly quick. Been very hot and dry prior to the event.
When he won last year, John, he was minus 23. And you get the impression, looking at the scores right now, that 23 under might be the winning mark this time.
Well, players come back to places that they like. Sullivan obviously really likes it here as defending champion, and that's another good iron shot there. Didn't have the best of Ryder Cups.
Coming off a par on the 9th hole, Hansen.
Amazing that he's putting this performance in, you know, because he's not really match fit. Had retired, but he's trying to play the minimum amount of events so that he retains his membership on the European Tour.
It must be a very pleasant experience for Chris Paisley to play here with freedom, not having to worry about his card like so many in the field.
Yeah, 30 years of age. Not an old man by any stretch of the imagination, but the relief that you're planning for next year, early part of the season, have a think and look at the schedule. Sullivan now to get to 21 under.
Now this putt is quite quick and it breaks more from the right than a lot of players imagine.
Yeah, he didn't see that. Settled down. That's trundled on. So that should be probably left centre coming back. Always has a huge following, Andy Sullivan. Yeah, nicely done. But it's a chance gone, really, from that range.
He would love to repeat what he did here on Friday, coming home in 30.
Good chance to look at Anders Hansen's swing here. Left of the flag's a sensible shot. Oh, he's just sliding it in from left to right. That looked really good when it set off. Stay there. There's a little ridge. Not bad. Not one of the longest out on tour now.
Both Hansen and this man Harrington trying to provide the 6th win on the European Tour this season by a player in their 40s.
Yeah, and he's trying to move this in left to right too. He's more speed in his swing. Pádraig Harrington now. I did a golf day with him earlier in the year where he was just struggling. As Oliver Fisher misses one. One of these men that back-to-back bogeys is trying to hang on to the card, which will go down to 1-1-1 this year.
Up the slope, this is a really tough putt to judge. Easy to bolt this by.
Or do that. The greens are a lovely surface, but not quite as quick as they perhaps would like. Just checking where the line is. Courtesy thing that golfers share with each other, not to tread on somebody's, what's perhaps their through line. Anyway, just a par.
Harrington's last win on the European Tour, the 2008 US PGA Championship.
Yeah, I can't believe that. And I'll tell you what else I can't believe, he's had 26 second places.
It is remarkable. With a par on the 11th, Sullivan remains second alone. Hansen is the target man, but with only 3 strokes separating everyone on the leaderboard, this Portugal Masters is going into a back nine shootout. Now here's a challenge.
Today, we're going to smash some bottles.
Usually pro golf's about keeping your bottle, not smashing them.
Ricardo, lead us away, see how many you can knock down, pal. Come on, hit it hard. Oh! Come on! We'll give you that one. You've got to hit it a little harder.
Oh, wow! There you go.
The boy is on fire.
I think you smashed 2 on one go.
Come on, little man.
Hey! Did you see that?
Boys, bring out the drone.
Ooh, there comes the drone. How small is that bottle?
I think you've got this, Ricardo. Come on, Tommy, you got this.
Yeah! Even here, there's no doubting Thomas.
That's awesome.
It's just what I do.
All good fun. But now it's back to the serious stuff. And who's got the necessary bottle to capture the Portugal Masters title? Well, the stock of Nacho Elvira rose with his 3rd birdie of the week at the 12th, leaving the Spaniard trailing by only 2. Finding this green, with water lurking all down the left, and as it transpired, mud on the ball, was a terrific effort. And what about this beauty under stifling pressure from Oliver Fischer on the 17th? After the tap-in birdie that resulted, his tour card for next season is pretty much under wraps, barring a golfing calamity on the last. As for Graham Storm, though, it's a cliffhanger. Hard to say for sure, but following this brave birdie on the 17th, a par on the 18th might well do the trick in terms of retaining his playing rights. Meanwhile, in the tussle for the trophy, Pádraig Harrington lands a hammer blow, turning a possible bogey on the 11th into an actual birdie. As a consequence of that, Harrington joined Sullivan in second, only 1 shot behind Hansen, stuck at 21 under after 5 straight pars either side of the turn.
And Oliver Fischer has reached the 18th. Bogey's at 15, 16, but he's made 8 birdies as well, so 6 under for the day. And when you're under the cosh, that's impressive. 4 here will do. He won't know that, because he doesn't know what the other guys are doing. But he's a chance to improve it.
PGA Catalunya, where they hold the Q School, is an absolutely fantastic venue, but no one wants to go there for that particular week.
No, they don't. Sullivan now. That was his eagle try. 2 par 5s on this back 9. The other one being at 17, where we saw Fischer stiff it.
Now Storm found the bunker right off the tee. Short of the green in 2, chip to here.
This could be crucial, this putt. Crucial. Oh, now then. He's going to have to wait to see what the outcome is.
And John, as it stands, at this very moment, Storm is on the outside looking in.
Well, he could be the man that finishes 1-1-2. And is that going through his mind? What a time to make your only bogey of the day. Former winner of the French Open and the Amateur Championship. Anyway, we'll have to see. That's sad if it's the case. Sullivan to get to 21 under.
An immense fan base here. Lots of members of his local golf club in the gallery. Nuneaton, that's where they're from. Now this for Fisher is for his 9th birdie of the round.
Well, the pressure's off now. That's the important thing. Get there. That's what Graham Storm could have done with. Well done, Oliver Fisher.
He's understated, John, because he's playing with Storm and with Brett Rumford, both of whom have lost their cards. So doesn't want to over-celebrate and rub it into them.
No, absolutely not. Gosh, you've got to feel for these guys. Harrington now. Now let's have a look. He's been working really hard on getting the club down faster from the top. That was better. I did a corporate day with him that I mentioned, and he was explaining about key things in his swing that he thinks are important.
Hansen here, reminiscent of Johnny Miller, who was pretty much retired when he won the AT&T Pro-Am at Pebble Beach in 1994 against all the odds. This would be the European Tour equivalent.
Well, it's a great start. There's the water down the left-hand side. Clever use of the lakes here. Not a lot of rough on this golf course. Pro Tracer showing us the line it's on, and it's a very good one.
In terms of golf coverage, John, that has been an absolutely phenomenal piece of kit.
Yeah, it has. Harrington now, this is... Well, this is dangerous if he pulls it. You can see what's waiting. That, did he get it properly? He seemed to turn through the ball very well. That's all right, though. That's okay. Sensible miss.
Looking for his first birdie on the 12th this week. He made an eagle on Thursday, then a couple of pars.
Hansen setting up for the draw with a long iron. Very hard to compete when you haven't been playing an awful lot. But he's obviously slotted in very well again this week. Excellent iron shot there for Anders. Outside eagle chance.
This isn't an outside chance on 13, though, for Sullivan. But it's a chance wasted nevertheless.
Yeah, there is one more. Par 3, that's at 16. But yeah, that's a good chance gone after a great tee shot. Oh, tell you what, that was close. Thought he caught the ground there, but he managed to get it to the hole.
Mikko Kohonen is a man who can play under pressure. He was successful at Q School for 3 consecutive years, 2012, 2013, and he won it in 2014.
And what an iron shot that is. I'm not surprised, but it's one place you don't want to go. 6 rounds, cut after 4. Everybody fighting for the limited cards there are. Now, Chris Paisley, yes, nicely done. So that's his 3rd birdie of the day. No bogeys. Big finish, you never know.
Now, this is a part of the game where Pádraig Harrington has always excelled. In terms of scrambling, few are better, John.
No, and the secret here is the ball's sat down. Well, it's not too bad. It's always keep it accelerating. Like that. He knows it's not going to backspin. Played for the release and pretty good. So that left for his 4.
We've mentioned he won the USPGA Championship. Anders Hansen in 2011 was only 1 shot outside the playoff in Atlanta between the eventual winner Keegan Bradley and Jason Duffner.
Well, this is an outside eagle chance. Go on, get there. That's not going to get there. That's a shame. After 2 good blows off the tee and out of the fairway, he's put himself under pressure.
The 15th is almost drivable. But it's a quirky par 4. Well designed. And from there, I can tell you, Elvira has played a peach. Ball a little below his feet, opened up the club face, and it dropped down so softly.
Now, Cajon in a huge putt here. Did bogey the 7th, but birdies at 2 and 4 got him out in 1 under. Oh, that's not getting there. But the easiest of 4s will take him 2 under for this final round. Great performance. Another man who would be panicking as he warmed up this morning, or certainly thinking about what the day was going to bring.
As for Hansen, this putt to regain sole possession of the lead.
Should be just inside left. Oh, now then. That's a mistake. Stayed in the obvious. 3 putts, though. Will do his head in.
And I think the head was the problem. It just seemed to raise up slightly before the stroke was made.
Elvira down the hill, right to left. Turn a little bit. Oh, turn more than he thought. A little bit more pace, that would have held its line.
A winner in waiting, though, the man who was beaten in a playoff at the Trophy, Hassan Dur, earlier this year.
Yeah, and 3rd in Italy recently. Now then. These are the ones that test your nerve, but that's a great up and down from Harrington, who you would have to say has not potted as well of late.
With that, Harrington grabs a share of the lead alongside Hansen and Sullivan, and it remains the definition of tight, with just 2 strokes covering the entire top 7. The Portugal Masters set for a nail-biting climax. This beach is timeless. In this part of the world, the sun rarely goes away. And this is a golden anniversary for golf in the Algarve. The region's original course, designed by Sir Henry Cotton at Penina, opened in 1966, a month before England won football's World Cup. Nowadays, think Algarve, think golf, especially when you consider 1.2 million rounds were played in this area last year. In keeping with its host nation, the Portugal Masters is exciting. With pars on the 13th from Harrington and Hansen, and the same from Sullivan at the 14th, the trio at the top is unchanged.
So here he is, down the right-hand side. Good flag to just try and draw it in a little bit. His rhythm to his swing looks good to me.
Svinger heller ikke tilbage, gør det?
I don't think he got the connection on it there he was looking for.
Even from this range, John, even with these world-class players, I suppose the water is still in the mind.
Well, it certainly shouldn't be. I mean, Harrington's got a great marker down there off Hansen's. It's just about committing. Good chance to get this into sort of 8 feet spin. Oh, yes. Another chance for Harrington. Very good indeed. Par came at 13, so if he knocks that in, he's 5 under for the day with no bogeys.
Having driven onto the collar of the green here, Sullivan in line for his 3rd birdie of the week at the 15th. And he just hurt a little by too much action.
Well, the groups are so sharp nowadays. It's easy to spin the ball too much. Now, Hansen. Well, this is an outside chance. I wonder if he's thinking about the 12th where he 3-putted. Harrington with a really good chance. Evidence of the greens just slowing up a little bit.
Now, Paul Lawrie off the tee on the 11th, into the water, made bogey, but since then, birdies on 12 and 14. And that was a cracking roll. Not quite enough break.
Very good effort. This is just about the easiest putt on the green. Oh, and he makes it. And the crowd are really rooting for him. When you've not won for a long time, the years fly by. 2008 US PGA. In his 40s. Ronan, his brother-in-law on the bag. Been with him for years.
Great story brewing. Now can Sullivan respond?
And the answer is no. You'd have to say he's had some chances.
Yes, just not converting and getting frustrated. So Harrington goes one clear, but he's found the rough off the 15th tee.
Let's have a look at the club he's got in his hand. Ah, that's not lying too badly. It's gone in elevated. Now he knows it's not going to really backspin on him. But it checked up more than I thought. There's a little ridge there. Could have just done with another yard. That's going to leave a left or righter.
From the fairway, with the ability to impart more spin, Kohonen on course for his best ever finish on the European Tour. Currently it's tied 7th. KLM Open 2 years back.
Well, he should pass that. Nearly. Another half a yard would have done. He has a look of Nicholas Fast about him to me. Well, this man's renowned for his short game, but that's not his best. Even with his skill out of that thickish rough round the green, it just caught him out.
2 birdies and a par so far on the 15th this week for Hansen. How he would love to complete the hat-trick.
He's just struggling to get the ball near the flag. Sunday payday. It can be expensive. Sullivan now has found the green here at 16. Needs something to happen, really, you would feel. Come on. Great try.
Just thinking about Hansen. So much experience, 425 starts on the European Tour, and he's 26th on the all-time money list.
Yeah, he's exempt to play the whole of next season, but I don't think he's interested. That wasn't his best.
You're right, John, he said before this round, even if he wins, he's not going to come out of semi-retirement.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens if he does win. Can Laurie clean up? No, he can't. Straight right. His 3rd bogey of the day at best there.
And that means, at best, he's 3 behind.
Never on line. Made a lovely noise off the putter. Good positive stroke, but just pushed it a fraction. So it's the easiest of pars for Pádraig. Stays 5 under, which is very impressive when you've been out the mix for a while.
Kohonen trying to become the 3rd Finn to win on the European Tour after Mikko Ilonen and Rupert Kakko. Poppy kind of stroke, but it was always left. So, John, lots of chances for lots of players, but fewer being converted. With 3 to play, Harrington's on track for his 15th European Tour win, but now comes a hole that's yielded fewer birdies than any other on the back 9 this week.
Yeah, it's a good par 3. That's an interesting move that he does with his hips there, puts his hand on his left hip. It's a posture thing. But he's put full commitment into that iron shot and he's pulled it. It's not the worst place in the world, but he's put a little bit of pressure on himself. ...209 yards, slightly down the hill. against the collar. That could make a difference to the club he can get on the ball.
Now from a par 3 to a risk and reward par 5. My favourite hole in the golf course, this, and that pin on the right-hand side. So dangerous.
As long as you fly the water, it'll be your favourite hole. Dangerous. Oh, what a brave shot that is. To miss that flag right and be okay, he'll be relieved.
If Harrington prevails, he would be the oldest winner of this tournament by 6 years. At the moment, that distinction goes to David Lynn, who was 39 when he prevailed.
What a touch that is. Settle down, though. Gosh, that's trundled on about 4 feet. Yeah, I thought Anders wouldn't be able to get the putter on this, so he's got to get down quite steeply into the back of it with a bit of loft. Just pop it on the green. It's downhill from here. Ooh, settle down. He's had a flyer. He's de-greened it. Clumsy.
Now, if Sullivan can pop this in, he leapfrogs Harrington. It was makeable. He had the line, but not the pace. The smiling, usually effervescent Sullivan, now overcome by frustration, John.
Yeah, well, he knew that was a simple chip right to left. Honing. He's a little bit under the radar. This will make a massive difference if he pops this in. Get there, get there. Oh, he has. Mikko Korhonen. Fourth birdie of the day with 1 bogey at the 7th, so that's very good. 3 under. He's not written his chances off.
Can Hansen keep that run of pars intact? Yes, he can. Dug deep for that.
Brave, brave putt. Well, they're smiling. That's the important thing. Sullivan now drills it in and goes to 22 under. Would have fancied there, though, maybe chipping in. Anyway, it's not to be. Harrington has got a little tester here at 16. This is the time to remember all the ones you've held in your career. Keep the head still, pick the line and commit. Well done, Pádraig Harrington. Very good up and down.
Intriguing afternoon, this. 2 Ryder Cup players, one past, one present, are locked together at the top. But the Portugal Masters has many permutations yet, and for Harrington, the 17th could be crucial. Welcome back to the sun-kissed Algarve and to the Portugal Masters, where Andy Sullivan shares the lead with one of his vice-captains from the recent Ryder Cup, Pádraig Harrington, in range in 2 on the par 5 17th, thanks to an ideal tee shot.
Yes, now then, left of the flag, I would expect here. There he goes, lifts himself up for his posture. Stay down on this. He's giving it the full hit. Listen to cut. That's all right. There. I think it made the lady jump a little bit with the quiet please board, but we know how good he is with the short irons.
Up on 18, this is the second toughest hole on the course, where bogeys are outnumbering birdies.
And we saw Oliver Fisher birdie it earlier. We saw Graham Storm bogey it to lose his card as Sullivan goes with the 6-iron. Oh. Now then. He needs a lie. The camera is making that ball probably look like it's sitting better than it is.
His renowned short game has served him so well so far.
Go on, go on. Pretty good. But that's left a tickler downhill, a little bit of right to left as defending champion approaches the green.
Now can Hansen make a birdie? No, he can't. Since the 6th, it's been 11 consecutive pars.
Yeah, he's just run out of maybe a little bit of steam. I think the 12th hole was pivotal to him, where he didn't birdie the par 5. But this is where you've got to dig in.
Literally, in this case for Sullivan. Dig into that rough. Not bad, but that's a must make if he's going to retain hope of retaining the title.
Yeah, I'd agree. But this is a must make as well. Birdie putt here for Harrington. This isn't easy. Good stroke, though. He takes a one-shot lead with Sullivan with a tricky par putt at the last. He's got a slight cushion, but it's a dangerous par 4.
Made of the right stuff, Harrington, who of course won on the PGA Tour last year at the Honda Classic.
Amazing. 20 years since his first win as well. Chris Paisley, it's been a good week. It's going to be a 4 at the last. Paul Lawrie playing alongside, of course, with Andy Sullivan, who now, Phil, inside left. And if he does, it'll be 4 to win for Harrington. Well done, Andy Sullivan. A frustrating day in places, you would have to say, but 6 under final round for the defending champion. All he can do now is wait.
But he's 53rd on the world rankings, and so pretty much assured of a top 50 place after this. And he's looking forward to the final series also. A great week's work, but maybe not quite enough.
So back to the tee. Well, it looks fairly inviting. Nice slide from left to right. Get down, there's bunker down there. And I think he's found it. Not ideal at all.
The ball actually plugged in the long grass and just hopped out of its plug mark, but I think it's covered in mud.
Well, that's important because the control on the ball for the second shot. This is where it is. Harrington with 165. I don't think he's going to be going at the flag here. If the mud is on the right-hand side of the ball, that normally makes the ball go left. But a huge shot. TV towers the line.
7-9 from 165 metres. Ooh, and the stand comes to his advantage.
Well, he's had the flyer there. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but that came in with pace.
John, a grandstand finish in every sense of the word.
Absolutely. Anders Hansen, come on now, finish with the 3. You get to 22 under, this is not over. Because, of course, it's not a given that Harrington's going to get up and down, but he's lost it right.
Can he get it up and down one more time for his 30th win worldwide? And it would be the 50th win on the European Tour, John, by a player from the Republic of Ireland. Whoever wins is going to collect the princely sum of €333,000.
Yeah, it is a princely sum now. Obviously, there's a lot of activity here around the back of 18, sponsors and cameramen. Of course, the crowd look on. He's just making sure that he doesn't disturb. But if that's what I can see, the ball there just peeking through the grass. This is a fairly routine chip. Settle down. Well, that to be champion. Round about 4 feet left. For the three-time major champion, former should I say. 2 Opens and a PGA Championship came very quickly for him.
But if Hansen or Kohonen make their birdie putts and Harrington misses, it's a multi-man playoff.
Give it a chance, Anders, and you haven't. No, you haven't, and you might not have lost your turn. A par at the last will guarantee now Anders Hansen, you would think, tied third. Kohonen to put pressure on Harrington. But it's his best finish ever on the European Tour.
And what a time to do it, John. Bear in mind, as we said before, he came here precariously placed, 116th on the race to Dubai. His job for next season under massive threat.
Yeah, great performance. Even so, 264s in 4 rounds, he would be thinking he's going to be all right. Hansen to stay at 21 under with Kohonen. Well done, Anders. Nice to see you back and very well played. But for Pádraig Harrington, is the 8-year wait over? There'll be a huge roar if this goes in. He's respected all over the world. He's got a good fan base down here. It's a nice week to come over and watch this great championship, but is he about to hand his trophy back?
Harrington has the X factor, that indefinable quality that makes great champions.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, he's held some key putts, and he's proved to himself that he's still one of the best, and he'll remember that win for a long, long time. Sullivan had his chances, so did Hansen, but Harrington prevails.
He said on European Tour Weekly earlier this week that he came here simply to win, win, win. That was the prime objective, the only objective, and that's precisely what he's done. Tremendous performance by a tremendous player.
The players are now required to sign for their scores, and the official prize giving ceremony.
And so, following a drought of no less than 117 events, stretching back to that 2008 US PGA Championship, Harrington returns to the winner's circle on the European Tour. 8 years ago, his reward was the Wanamaker Trophy. This time, he lifts the Portugal Masters silverware and celebrates his 30th win around the world as a professional. Quite a career, quite a day. And this was the moment when the deal was sealed.
I'm delighted. Obviously, you know, a lot of good things went for me this week. I played nicely. Good change of attitude at the start of the week, and you know, there's no doubt during the week I certainly got my breaks. I'm comfortable enough that there was going to be a win, but as I said, every year you want one, and I haven't had one this year, so you know, I'll be able to put down 2016 as a winning year.
Harrington vaults from 96th to 43rd in the race to Dubai, but there's no change to the top 10, with Masters champion Danny Willett still number 1. This, though, was a week when most eyes weren't trained on the apex of the rankings. Instead, it was all about the battle for tour survival. And in light of that, well done to the likes of Oliver Fischer and Mikko Kohonen for digging deep when it came to the crunch. All of those near the cut-off point cut it fine and will be immensely relieved they did just enough to continue competing full-time on the European Tour in 2017. But please spare a thought for Graham Storm, whose bogey on the 18th means a dreaded trip to Q School by €100. In total contrast, it was victory at Villamoura for Harrington.
To watch another European Tour video, click here, and to subscribe, click here.